Abandonment, emptiness, and violence. There is little question that we live in a culture of escalating violence. A recall of the Passion is a reminder of the violence faced by Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. But a question arises, is the Passion of Jesus Christ a destination in the life of Jesus or an entryway into the future of Christianity? The Passion causes one to reflect on the future of Christianity. The narrative of St. Mark's Gospel is void of healing, parables, teachings, or miracles. A donkey is untied, a room is prepared, many lay cloaks on the streets, and the Son of Man will ride triumphant and celebrate it through the streets of Jerusalem. In the week ahead, I invite you to think about the future of our Christianity. The readings at hand place Christ fully and completely in the earth and upon a tree that defies any rational faith explanation. There is no blind man to heal, yet blindness abounds. There is no miracle to perform or parable to teach. Have we ever reached such a point of abandonment, of no return in our friendships or in our spiritual lives? We have only to see the headlines of Atlanta and Boulder slayings to be ever reminded that we too live in a moment of escalating violence. What is our response? How are we violent to ourselves and to others? If Christ's crucifixion was truly a turning point in history, we need only view the development of methods of violence since the crucifixion, for we are mindful that there was only 40 years between the pioneer flight of the Wright brothers until the maiden flight of a stealth bomber. The true scandal of the Passion of Christ is the intentional infliction of suffering on an innocent Jewish man. Yet how many times in our lives are we on one side or the other of receiving or perpetuating violence? The Christian mystic Teilhard de Chardin, a Jesuit paleontologist, summarized spiritual life as supremely one thing and one thing only: fire. At the center of his life was this unmistakable fire that warmed his heart and the light by which he saw. At the center of this fire, like the blue of the flame, stood for him the Christ. That burning in the cave of your heart, a feeling you may have experienced in the stillness of a Taizé service or Come to Christ evening, is what we tend to in our moments of silence. If we believe we have an animus towards greater unity, and that is to materialize, we must develop within ourselves the exceptionally strong unifying powers of interhuman sympathy and religious forces. Some modern-day prophets suggest a spiritual interweaving of care for the earth, Pope Francis's Laudate Si, and faith is necessary for the peaceful continuity of our planet, and we must unite both global and spiritual energies. But for one, Christ through his passion and death became the future guide. His death precedes the complete lack of possession embodied later in the lives of St. Francis and St. Clare and many of the everyday saints whom we know. The future of Christianity seems to only be able to occur if we can release ourselves from what is called religious individualism and confront the general religious experience, which is both cosmic and evolutionary, and to involve ourselves in it. Religion and evolution are destined to form one single, continuous organism. Each prolongs, is dependent on, and completely the other, without being identified or lost. We are called from along the triumphant roads this Sunday not to be the next Patricio, Felipe, Tyler, or Selena. Rather, we are called to be the unique self that we discover as we confront the realities of our day and time. As Father Graham and Stephen and Robert have shepherded us, we possess, unlike St. Francis, the gift of patient discovery of ourselves without a client climate of violence, for past ills, past judgments, for past failings, and even for our past successes. Cardinal Joseph Bernardin outlined the only real way to be present to others in a week such as the week that ensues. It is a Christian manner and suggestion to forget ourselves. In the final analysis, he writes, one participates in the Paschal mystery, in the suffering, death, and resurrection of Jesus, bringing an action of freedom, the freedom to let go, the surrender of ourselves to the living God, to place ourselves completely in His hands, knowing He will ultimately win out. The more we tend to cling to ourselves and others, the more we try to control our own destiny, and the more we lose the true sense of our lives, the more we are impacted by the futility of it all. It is precisely and paradoxically in the letting go and entering a complete union with the Lord and letting Him take over that we discover our true selves. Holy Week invites us to allow the mystery, the tranquility, and the purposefulness of Jesus' suffering to creep into our own life so that we may become effective instruments in the hands of the Lord for the sake of others. This way we truly become the future of Christianity. In the agony of Golgotha, writes Cynthia Brogold, when all systems of thought tumble, when every justification is let go, and every metaphysical speculation dies, and the imagination withers away, God remains. God remains in openness. So no matter what, stay open and do not pass on the pain. Our future lives depend on it and you, as does our future Christianity.